But Herc, we have a new segment to debut here on Futbol Americas. Cap or no cap, all right? So basically, true or false.
Yeah, lie or
But we're
no
calling it cap or no cap.
Lie or no lie.
Lie or no lie. Yeah. All right, so what's our first question here on cap or no cap? Ooh, this one, Herc's gonna love this one. Is it time for the U.S. men's national team to move on from Tim Ream? Cap or no cap, Herc? What say you?
No cap. Now listen to me before you jump on me, Sebastian Salazar. I am not trying to retire Tim Ream. I actually
feels like it.
Ate crow during the World Cup because Tim Ream was one of the better performers for the U.S. men's national team. My job is not to be a cheerleader, it's to be a realist when it comes to things. Tim Ream right now will be turning 36 years old in a month, okay? That means he will be 39 towards the end of that World Cup, 2026 World Cup.
Younger than you.
All he will be doing is placeholding somebody that could be earning valuable time right now, valuable experience. A Cameron Carter-Vickers alongside of Chris Richards, a Miles Robinson alongside of Chris Richards, Austin Trusty alongside of Chris Richards. The list goes on and on. All you're doing is giving Tim Ream more chances to extend his career at the expense of a younger player that you could potentially give that experience to. Copa America, World Cup. At some point, Tim Ream is going to show you how old he's gotten. At some point, the trips are going to be too much. At some point, he can let you down. I hope that is not the case because he did his country a great service. I hope Greg Berhalter can do as he once did with this national team and usher out the experienced older generation and bring in the new.
Cap! Cap! Stop with your anti-Tim Ream ways, Herc.
You want a 39-year-old at the World Cup?
You know what? If the question was...
I just answer the question.
If the question was move on from Tim Ream as a starter, that's different. But you're talking about moving on from Tim Ream. This is still a starter in the Premier League. Like, we got guys in the conversation for center back for the U.S., like Walker Zimmerman, who, yes, had a good run in qualifying and, yes, had a decent World Cup, Herc, but has not been lights out even this year at the level of Major League Soccer.
Oh, he's been good this year in Major League Soccer.
No, not the whole season, Herc. Not
the
whole season. Not the whole season. That's the thing, Herc. The bar for center backs is pretty low for the U.S. still, especially when you consider experience. Yes, when you start considering experience, there's not a lot of guys with a lot of experience at the center back position. And I look at a guy like Tim Ream and I say, even if he's not your starter, Herc, he's a truly left-footed left center back, which I think Austin Trusty's the only other one in the pool, truly left-footed. This guy absolutely has a value. He's not an ego guy. You can bring him along as a backup. I mean, I just don't know why you would move away from Tim Ream totally right now. That makes no sense to me, given the level that he's playing at.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring up Michael Bradley and Josie Alter, who at 30 years of age, you wanted them gone from the national team at all capacity. But yeah, makes sense.
After they were part of the group that failed to qualify for a World Cup.
Where do you think Tim Ream was?
By the way, were they part of the team that got back? Were they part of the team that got back to the World Cup? Those two guys.
Of that group, buddy.
Oh, if you want to make the argument right now for Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore, go ahead.
That's exactly what I said. Yes.
Go ahead.
Two players who have done a hell of a lot more than a lot of players on any national team in any generation for the U.S. men's national team.
Next on Cap, No Cap here on Futbol Americas, as producer Beto nervously looks down at his watch. Is the U.S. men's national team's biggest problem the formation? Cap or no cap?
Cap. It's not the formation. There's two things here. First, it's the health of the players because the formation is dictated by who you have and who is available. If Giovanni Reyna is available, there's a chance, I hope, that Greg Berhalter's thinking maybe I don't do a 4-3-3, a traditional one, and maybe it's a 4-2-3-1 like we saw in the summer with B.J. Callahan, and he's operating as that 10. That's a reality. Maybe if Tyler Adams is available, you'd say that solidifies that. Maybe if Chris Richards is consistently available, you think, well, there's another personnel. Maybe I could use a three-man center back line or whatever the case may be. That's one, is health. Is a lot of these players have not been healthy enough to try out different formations or perfect a certain formation. And the second one is the person picking the formations. Greg Berhalter. That's the other worry, the other big problem for me when we talk about the system in itself. You heard Greg Berhalter in the cold open talking about how sometimes these games can be difficult. You may play lower level teams here, and how it was different because the last team was a 5-4-1 and this team is a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the midfield. Stop! I'm tired about hearing what you're going to do because of an opponent. You're playing Oman and Uzbekistan. What is the U.S. men's national team going to do to make them react to you? It can't be that you're always trying to react to another team. And if that's the case, where were these tactics to react against the Netherlands when Van Gaal called you out for not adjusting? You need to react to better teams, not to lesser level opponents. I don't want to see the U.S. men's national team having to think of a system for a team that's ranked 74th and 73rd in the world. Those patterns of play that you talked about, I want to see those systems against the better teams. I want to see those patterns in play so your 9 finishes them against the better teams. I don't want to see Greg Berhalter catering down to the 73rd, 74th place teams in the world.
If there is a problem with the formation, I don't actually think it's a problem. It's a good thing. It's that there's too many guys for the amount of spots in midfield. You cannot really create a formation where Yunus Musah, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Gio Reyna can all be on the field at the same time. To your point, thanks to health, or maybe no thanks to health, it's rare that you actually have all 4 of those guys. So sometimes the formation, I think, kind of takes care of itself. I don't think it's necessarily health that's the biggest worry, Herc. I get what you're saying. There are a lot of guys who have injury issues and injury histories on this team, but every national team deals with that, and at some point you got to go to war with whoever shows up. For me, the bigger question is form and playing time. If we're talking about problems for this team, for some big guys, Weston McKennie, Tim Weah, Yunus Musah are all huge parts of this team. Are we really sure that either of those 3 guys, any of those 3 guys, are week in, week out starters at their club? That would be my biggest problem if there was one for the U.S. men's national team. And even that, I would say, is a stretch because you're talking about having players at great clubs.
Yeah, I would say it's a stretch just because the history of this U.S. team, I mean, we said the same thing about Christian Pulisic. He wasn't playing at Chelsea. How would that affect them? Then he comes over to the U.S. men's national team and he uses it as a refresher. Hopefully, players like Yunus Musah, who are finding it difficult right now at Milan, and I'm sure once Champions League kicks around and they have cup competitions, he'll get time, can use that to their benefit. But the same thing with Weston and Timothy Weah, who are kind of fighting with each other for time.
All right, last but not least, here on Cap or No Cap. Let's go up top. Has Valerian Balogun secured the starting striker role with the U.S. men's national team? Herc.
Cap. And listen, you can thank us, all those other networks who are starving for content, and we give it to you. That's right. There's a 9 competition. There's a battle going on.
I mean, we've been doing this for like 3 years, I feel like.
For more than 3 years. This goes way back. But Valerian Balogun's a very good forward. He's a very good striker. He's just got competition. 4 games, 2 goals. One of them was in the final, yes, but in these 2 games in this window, Ricardo Pepi came on in limited time and scored in both games. And not only was he scoring goals, he was facilitating. Did you see the ball he gave Weston McKennie? I mean, the ball where he drags it into space by himself, lays it back to Weston. Weston should have finished, and he knew. There's a little element to Ricardo Pepi's game. And listen, it's not just goals. 18 games, 9 goals, right? Of those 9 goals, only 2 have been in friendlies. The rest in official competitions. Valerian Balogun's a very good forward. He's going to get his time. And a lot of it could be circumstantial, and I will get to that in a second. But Ricardo Pepi is making this a fight. He will not go down easily. It is not Valerian Balogun's right now. He is not an automatic starter. It's whoever has the hottest hand.
I got to tell you, Herc, I think the U.S. hit the lottery with Balogun, and I think the U.S. is sitting on a gold mine with this tridente, with this front 3 of Pulisic, Weah, Balogun. I think this trio could be what Mexico fans thought Chucky Lozano, Tecatito Corona, and Raul Jimenez were going to be, which is to say a front 3 that can dominate in this region for a World Cup cycle and potentially at the highest level of the international game get you to transcend. That's what the U.S. is building, but I don't think you get there, Herc, by tinkering. I don't think that you get there by giving Ricardo Pepi minutes that Balogun needs to build that chemistry with Way and Pulisic. That, to me, as I see this U.S. team, that's the real elite strength of this U.S. team going forward. I don't think Greg Berhalter needs another high-profile position battle to deal with. I think you got to go with Balogun, and you got to let that front three work together, Herc.
Hold on. You got no issue here, but you had an issue with Ream? Like, I don't understand this. Why can't Ricardo Pepi fight for it? Why is Ricardo Pepi automatically out, but Tim Ream automatically in?
I see a bigger gap between Balogun and Pepi than you do.
I think Tell me what you saw this window that shows you the biggest gap. The bigger gap.
This window is a small sample size, Herc. You're going to tell me that? Why don't you go back to last year? Look at what Balogun did at
one guy
club
came
level.
on both games as a second-half substitute and scored.
So one of the big complaints last time about Greg Berhalter was we never got the start at same 11. We never built a team. You never knew what it is. Now you have your front three, which could be the front three of the future, and you want to tinker with it, Herc.
Show me what you saw from Balogun in this window that you liked.
Balogun's dangerous, man. He's great off the ball. Come on. He's dynamic. He does great runs.
I'm glad you said that because I want to talk about exactly how dangerous he is. Go ahead, next one. I want to talk about exactly how dangerous he's been.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.